Hey, so folks, it's Taurus 101. Welcome back to World Building Wednesdays. I know it's been a while, like a month now, since I've done a World Building Wednesday thing, but I just haven't felt like it. And since Wednesdays are sort of my day off from any sort of responsibility, I just decided I'm just not gonna do it. This is a fun for funsies thing, and I want to keep it for funsies. That being said, I had a lot of fun designing Infernalchemy. So Infernalchemy is what I'm calling Minecraft's potion system. Because alchemy, potions, infernal, the nether, because it has a whole bunch of stuff to do with the nether and whatnot. So, yeah. There's sort of an overarching theme across all of my World Building Wednesday, or almost all of my World Building Wednesdays things, where it's like all of the magic systems and whatnot are derived from some variation of body, soul, and voice. And that's sort of reflected in Infernalchemy, my Grj'lyr Minecraft project. Now, there's a lot to be said on Infernalchemy, because I've put a lot of care into explaining it. It's sort of a hard magic system, rather than some of my... Sorry about that, cut off. Rather than some of my other soft magic systems. But, yeah. As, you know, Big Chef, the explorer slash, storyteller character I'm sort of playing in Grj'lyr. I've written sort of a in-depth analysis and explanation, sort of like a textbook on Infernalchemy. The first one, Volume 1, is the mechanics and application of soul, which is sort of how Infernalchemy works. And Volume 2 is going to be the actual alchemy part of it. The potions and whatnot, and their effects, and what they're derived from, and how to make them, and why things work, why putting glowstone frickin' increases the strength of a thing, but redstone increases the duration. Stuff like that. So in this one, there's going to be 2 parts to Volume 1. Part 1 is this video, the underlying mechanics, what is soul, what is alignment, what is potency. Part 2 is I'm going to be explaining where soul and alignment and whatnot are found in nature, what counts as a soul vessel, stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. Let's get right into it. Yeah, so I took the pictures of every page of this episode except the first one. Anyway, Part 1, Underlying Mechanics. What is soul? Soul is one of the 3 components of being, the others being body and command. Soul is the component of identity, personality, aspiration, creativity. One moment. And connection. Without soul, one would be driven only by their body's instinct and have no greater wants or desires. Soul possesses no physical form and cannot be measured in terms of amount or size. Instead, any physical properties that may arise from the presence of soul is purely caused by the amount of soul that is unaligned. Thus, the only way to measure soul or detect the physical presence of soul is by measuring how much of the soul is unaligned. A vessel with soul that is completely aligned will have the same properties as a vessel with no soul at all. What is alignment? Soul, like other components of being, strives for consistency. As such, soul, in the unobstructed presence of other soul, will align itself to match that of the rest of the soul or a pre-existing imprint that soul has left on its vessel. This isn't physical alignment, as soul has no way of physically moving outside of said vessel. Soul cannot be quantized like mass or space, but instead can only be measured in terms of alignment. Soul, as a component of being, does not have any physicality. Much like command, it may only be observed by the consequences of its existence on other measurable things. When soul is aligned, it demonstrates no apparent mass, volume, or density. When soul is unaligned compared to its surroundings, the entropy or noise in the system produces the effective physical attributes described above. The amount of work the soul is doing to align itself can be measured in joules, and the amount of soul that is unaligned is represented with the variable A, such that when soul is completely unaligned, A equals 1, and when soul is completely aligned, A equals 0. This is important because the entropy in a vessel is S, or the soul entropy in a vessel is equivalent to 1 joule over A. As A approaches 0, the soul entropy approaches infinity. In reality, the amount of work required to align the soul also decreases, and the soul entropy in a system will tend towards 0 as the soul completely aligns. There are, of course, exceptions, where the soul remains at near constant S, such as in soul sand, soul soil, and netherwort. But because of the unaligned nature of the aforementioned vessels, which will be explained in part 2. What is potency? Much like alignment is an aspect of soul, potency is an aspect of command. Command is the component of being which allows one to interact with the world outside of oneself. Potency is the measure of that ability, the strength of the potential influence or impression one can leave on their surroundings. Potency is measured in experience points, and that is the primary state in which potency can physically manifest in Grj'lyr. Collected XP is stored in a person through unknown means, but each person knows about how much XP they possess through instinct alone. In order to use command in a more pure state than simple physical interaction, one must use great amounts of XP-derived potency, in specific increments called levels. Each level is valued the same for the purposes of enchanting or forging, but each level past 16 requires incrementally more experience to reach. While XP is found in many physical forms, such as lapis lazuli or skulk, there are other substances which can carry or be derived from potency, namely gold and blaze. Gold is a metal which by itself is structurally weak. Gold is soft, dense, and endurable. This is not where gold's strength lies. However, gold is a natural source of potency, either created by potency condensing into a metallic structure, or possibly a metal naturally attracts and stores potency. The other manifestation of potency is blaze. Blaze is a fiery, yellow-orange, luminous substance. It is commonly found in a powder form inside the rods from the blaze mobs, but is also present in trace amounts in netherrack, which can serve as a nucleation point for nether quartz and gold. XP can be thought of as the form of potency which strengthens the soul's ability to influence the world, and blaze can be thought of as the body's. Consumption of unrefined blaze is said to have the effect of making one believe they're indestructible, though their body is being poisoned and burned from the inside. When refined, however, it can allow for more warranted sources of such feelings. This is why blaze-derived potency is so integral to the proper practice of Infernalchemy. Yeah, so I did record a bit where I went over and explained a bunch of stuff in more people terms than that. But then I did a bunch of math from the top of my head, and it was all wrong, and I explained it weird, and then I extended the video by another 12 minutes, which I don't want to do, and it just sort of detracted from the feel. So I'm going to leave you guys with that almost barely explained, or very quickly explained mechanics of how this world works. And I'm going to leave you with the mystery of, oh, how does it all tie together? Because I think that's going to be more fun for everyone involved. If you're part of the discovery, you're learning. Yeah, so, not to drag on the video too long, here's the outro. Thanks. Make sure to like and subscribe if you think I deserve any of those things, or don't if you think I don't, delight in the sight of my suffering. Make sure you ring this notification bell on your way out. She works very hard informing you of the 3 times a year I actually upload something. And if you can set your notification settings to all while you're at it, that would save her on paperwork, me on labor costs, and everyone a whole lot of stress. Well, anyway, thank you guys again for watching. Make sure to say bye to Gilbert on your way out. Later!